Good morning to everyone. I introduced myself this morning. I'm a member of this portfolio committee. I'm DERELEEN James, and I'm a mum in recovery, recovering from being addicted to my son's addiction. And I sit here this morning being able to resonate and understand what many of the mothers across the Cape Flats are going through. Ek vra myself, waar is die paans, waar is die manne? These are the very mothers that has to sit on the court benches with their children. These are the mothers who go visit their children in prison. To date, we find that drug addiction is the only disease that you get arrested for having and not support. When our mothers go on their socks at 2 o'clock in the morning to the SAP station, they aren't even able to assist us with the Section 33. Hulle vra vir ons wat is daai. It is sad this morning feels like deja vu for me because in 2013 I authored a letter to the then president explaining to them what many mothers like myself are going through, how we have to run out, how sending our children to school is like sending them to the lion's den because that's where they sell the drugs. And we were told take our children out of the community because you know what? A private school will be better. And there it happened as well. It feels like deja vu. For the longest time, I cannot believe you're sitting here this morning and we don't have the Central Drug Authority present. We don't have the 21 departments responsible for responding for substance use disorder in our country present here this morning. Where are they? 15 years later, it is only SAPS. We continue to call on a whole of government and het lyk niemand hoor vir ons nie. Ek wil nie baie praat nou nie, but I want to say, if anything, from today onwards, let's ensure that we get every child back in the classroom on the Western Cape. Every child. Because if a child is not in the classroom, and it is a dual responsibility, it is the responsibility of SAPS, and it is the responsibility of DSD as the custodians of the Children's Act. To get every child back in the classroom, because if a child is not in the classroom, a child is learning how to cock a gun and how to smoke drugs. Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you to everyone today who opened up themselves, opened up their vulnerabilities. I'm going to request, Chair, that the Secretariat arranges for counseling for all the women who spoke here today. It's not easy to speak out about your personal business and wearing your vulnerabilities on your sleeve. So that's the first thing. I want to say here today, as we plan, they too plan. They sat all day. They knew this was happening. They were listening. They're sitting amongst us. They are 2 steps ahead. Therefore, we cannot have conventional policing for unconventional patterns of crime unfolding. I am pleased today that we have our station commanders here because for too long, we have our generals having to come and account for the nonsense happening at our police stations. It is time that the station commanders sit before us and they answer with regards to the shortcomings to our communities. I luckily have visited Mitchell's Plain Police Station right across the road there, General Konaze. You have Town Center, a drug hub, right across the road from Mitchell's Plain Police Station. Often mass murders occurring at Town Center. Mitchell's Plain Police Station also, where many firearms walked out of that police station. Ek was by daai polisiestasie. I know exactly what is happening. A week ago, I called that police station because there was a son terrorizing and beating his mother in that police station. She called them. They didn't respond. I called them. There was a language barrier. I told them about the address. They referred me to Lentegeur. Lentegeur referred me back to them. They referred me back to Lentegeur, and eventually I had to just stand my ground and say, send a van, this is part of your jurisdiction. That is what are the challenges we have to face. If the general from, and I want to commend you, General Mtombeni from Gauteng, the provincial commissioner there, when I send him a message at 5 o'clock, guaranteed at 3 minutes past 5, I'm going to have a response. Guaranteed by 5:30. There's someone that responded to my case. So unfortunately, that general has set a very, very high precedence. And so I don't see why I have to wait 5 days for Brigadier Miller to respond to my messages if we have a provincial commissioner responding within minutes. Mannenberg, we've heard you. I visited that police station. That police station is in dire need of vehicles. I have contacted National. I've spoken to Brigadier Motsekitsi a couple of weeks ago, and I said to her, even the CPF was begging, they said, ma'am, net alles het net 2 vehicles. And I want to put it on record today. Ek het gevra vir julle, ons wag nog steeds. Kleinvlei, I've also visited that police station. You say get onto the ground, my colleague. I am on the ground every day, every minute when the community calls. Kleinvlei, there wasn't even a space actually to conduct proper interviews. It looked like a house. I was shocked. I thought I was going to visit someone's home. Right now, I know that they are busy renovating that police station and there's progress at that police station. So I thank you for the progress made there. I want to say that I have heard you. We have heard you. We've listened to, I've got 18 sets of remarks here. 18 people spoke. And we are going to look at having solutions for all 18 those challenges that was tabled here today. I also want to commend the lady that spoke to the importance of NGOs and NPOs, because apparently in South Africa they think that those places have nothing better to do, that those are unemployed people looking for a stipend. Those are the people holding the moral fabric of our communities together. Those are the people that we need to allocate budget for. Anything that is unfunded in this country is not going to take us forward. So if they are saying to you that we have CPFs in our communities working the ground, walking with the brigadier, late on a Friday evening, an unfunded mandate, so kan dit nie aangaan nie. We need to find the money, and the money is there. We need to fund CPFs. We need to prioritize all our NGOs who fills the gap when DSD is not there, when SAPS is not there, when those departments aren't there. It is our mothers, it is our soup kitchens, it is our NGOs. Wat ons by mekaar hou in ons gemeenskap. DSD needs to step up. I heard you, Claudine, she's left now, unfortunately, when you said, I've called on this many, many years ago in Eldorado Park to say, toets ons police manne. We see how they come out of the Pelaposa and the drug houses sniffing. We see the white powders on their nose. And then you know what? Because they're using tuk, they are going through many cases and we say they are effective. This is why they are on standby 24/7. It is time that this country, that our SAP starts prioritizing and we categorize the drugs. We need to understand what we are fighting. We can't fight something when we don't understand this demon. Tuk is your chaos-causing drug. Tuk. Your glass. That is your chaos-causing drugs. That is the drugs waar jy hoor die kinders slat en ryp hulle maans. Those are the dealers that we need to go after. Yet our drug stats records, because when our commissioners come in, they say, you know what, we need to go and answer to the big bosses, so we need the drug arrests coming in and we need your stats. And we find that they arrest thousands of users. I've heard you today when you said we've arrested quite a few for possession. We are tired of hearing about possession. We want to hear about dealing, because the ones that you are arresting for possession, that means you are criminalizing an entire community. That means when all of those children go serve 3 and 6 months in prison, they come back and guess what? They cannot have access to employment. Please stop arresting the user and start focusing on the dealer. I heard the pastors saying here today that, you know, you have pastors also, there's all these forums at different levels. Again, are you being funded? Are you being funded? How do we expect you to be effective? Because right now you spoke about 3 spears. I would like to see you dealing with bullying and all that sorts of things in every school, in every community. Someone needs to be linked. We need to have a policeman linked to every school, because all our schools are affected. So you are needed in our communities and you cannot do your job and you cannot speak proudly without being funding. Daar's baie geld daar buitekant. It's just not finding expression in our communities. I want to speak about, I heard you when we spoke about those cases on the court roll that gets put out, generals, case destruction and drug destruction. I attended some of them. I couldn't help but notice, and I was very concerned about the fact, and this is why our drugs are finding its way back into our communities, because guess how long they have to be at the lab? Sometimes more than 8 years. On those little forms where they bagged, that drugs was booked in 8 years ago. By the time it has to be at court as a possible, obviously the evidence, dan is hy drugs mee getamper. They know the loopholes and those cases get struck off the court roll. Let us prioritize substance use disorder and drugs, and let us have specialized courts. If you are serious about this, let us have specialized courts dealing with drug cases. Let us have specialized units where members don't write on a docket and open up a case and they say, arrested him in front of a drug house. Imagine that. Why aren't you arresting the person owning the drug house? Why are you arresting the person? They know the loopholes. They know how cases get struck off the court roll. I am asking, one of the quick wins we can have here today, we can capacitate all our police stations by enforcing them and capacitating them with Section 33. So this won't add to the caseload of your detectives. Your detectives are sitting with many cases where children have been breaking into their own homes, stealing from their own mothers and causing self-harm to themselves, to their families and their streets. We can follow Section 33. That will take half those cases away from your detectives. There's a lot that we can do. Maar gaan het daar los vir vandag. I thank you.